And Friends comes away with a rebound and a chance to take the lead. 33-32, Emerlehu going for the lead from the left wing. Emerlehu with the triple on the move, ready to run her from 8 feet. No, Jackson snares down the miss and then puts it home for the right side. Jackson in double figures for Friends. Trey Reed looking inside, off to Emerlehu, turns down to 3, kicks it left wing to Trey Reed. He drives in the lane, now to the rim, scoops it up and in, and he got fouled. 7. Tabor ahead with 1:40 to go in overtime. Here's Garner, strong move to the cup on Zoe Rust. She throws it up and makes it, and she gets fouled for one more. Friends ahead, Barberry goes up, and he flushes it down. Barberry taking flight and getting a body in the process. What's up, everyone? Voice of the Friends Falcons, Pat Strathman here with another edition of the Friends Basketball Show on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM, broadcasting from Walk-On Sports Bistreaux. Lots of exciting stuff happening out this way. College basketball is in full swing. College football bowl season will be taking place before too long. NFL action taking place. If you are interested in any of those things, there's no better place to catch those games than right here at Walk-On Sports Bistreaux. It's that game day atmosphere with game day food with a southern twist. Always a big fan of their food and certainly a big fan of their support of Friends University Athletics. We thank Walk-On Sports Bistreaux for being a proud sponsor of Friends University Athletics. Tonight, you'll hear from the Friends men's basketball coach, Phil McClintock. Last time out, Friends falling to Southwestern. The Mound Builders getting the win 90-82, but a very tough effort by the Friends men's basketball team. We'll break down that game. We'll also break down the win against the St. Mary Spires. Do want to go all the way back, though. Last time we talked to Coach McClintock, it was right after the Bethany game, just before the Ottawa game. A loss for the Falcons, losing 97-91, but once again, a very strong effort. When he scored 91 points in the game, odds are you're probably going to get the win, but 97 for the Ottawa Braves as they get the W in that contest. Just your thoughts on what you saw in the game on Saturday, December 2nd, that lost to Ottawa.
Yeah, it was a good game. We were in it the whole time. They pulled away. They're a team that can really score, and they have two really, really good scorers. That'll be, all conference guys. For us, feel like we were battling. It was even, and then there was a stretch with about 10 minutes left. We just kind of one of their guys took over, and they just, kind of high ball screened us and knew what they were trying to do, and we just really didn't have an answer for it. And we tried a couple different things and just weren't able to slow them down because, obviously you said we scored 91 points. Well, you can't give up almost 100 if you're us and expect to win a lot of those games. So, for us, we're scoring pretty well. We're scoring especially really well at home. And so finding ways to combine our offense with some defense would be nice. So
at some point, little by little, as this team continues to gel, you guys primarily so far this year, first halves, you guys have been pretty solid in the first halves in the majority of the games. Against Ottawa, you guys are up by 3. In a game against Kansas Wesleyan, you guys were within striking distance. Primarily in the first half, I feel like you guys have had terrific starts. At least the first 20 minutes has been pretty good. Your thoughts on the first half and what you guys are able to do? What has led to such a good start this year for this unit?
I don't know. We're confident. We're playing with confidence. We're figuring each other out. So I feel like late in the game, in the game of basketball in our conference, a lot of times the better players or the more, seasoned team, kind of takes over and knows exactly what they want to do. And I feel like it's kind of been the opposite a little bit for us just because we have guys that obviously haven't played together and, haven't played under me. And so I feel like that's probably a part of it. Getting stops down the stretch is something we got to get better at. But I mean, there's a lot to it. But I mean, you're right. I mean, and I told the guys before we played Southwestern, I'm like, we haven't been blown out in a game. We're in every single game, so it's not going to start today, And so and we didn't, even against the top team in our conference right now. So I mean, we can play with anybody. We just got to find out how to figure out how to beat people consistently. So which they know that, we know that.
In that game against Ottawa, you had not one, not two, but 6 different guys reach double figures. That's pretty darn good. Now, I know scoring 91, you'd rather not give up 97, but to get 6 guys in double figures, led by Keon Hutton's 20 points, I think that says a lot about your team. Because KJ Spiller, it kind of feels like he's been the guy in that role, being the top scorer. But to have Keon score 20 in that game, to have Drew reach 10, you get Colin Macklin off the bench with 15, you get 11 points from Al Emerlahu and Christian Williams. Like, you look at that balance, to have 6 guys reach double figures, it's pretty tough to do. Your thoughts on that game specifically offensively that allowed you to have such balance against the Braves?
Yeah, we were able to move the ball well. We tried to kind of, especially the Bethany game before that we played, I felt like at too high of a pace, and just a pace that we couldn't continue to, be disciplined on both ends. So we're like, okay, well, we're still going to play fast because I think we're a really, really good transition offensive team. And so we don't want to take that away from our guys. But, I mean, if we don't get a stop, what are we going to do? Let's get, find a great shot and move the ball and play inside out and get high assists, low turnovers is what we try to do. So, and I think in that game we were able to control the pace and the tempo for the most part, and we were able to, share the ball. And our team's good when we just make the right play and find the right guy, and instead of, hey, we're going to go to this guy, because I don't think we have that guy that could just go get a bucket every time in ice games. So we got to do it together, and I think that, against Ottawa we did a really good job of that. We just couldn't get stops down the stretch.
Phil McClintock, our guest here on the Friends Basketball Show, head men's basketball coach at Friends University, here from Walk-On Sports Bistreaux. Falcons losing to Ottawa 97-91 on the second, but then the Falcons, they turned around, made a long road trip up to Leavenworth, and at that point, Friends still searching for that first win on the road. And in that building, I still have nightmares of how my debut, I guess my first time in the conference really went. When I went up to Leavenworth, it was a Kansas Wesleyan football game. They would lose to the Spires, therefore not winning a KCAC championship, and I'm driving back thinking, all right, well, that stunk. Let's see what happens. Then fast forward to basketball, make the trek up that way. St. Mary gets both wins, and I'm thinking, okay, come on, what's going on? Like, what's going on in this place? And I come to find out that it's just a very tough place to play, a tough place to go up there and get a win. And you guys got the win, 71-57. So not only do you get an away victory, you get a road win, one of the tougher ones in the KCAC. What stood out to you in that 71-57 win against the Spires?
Yeah, it was a huge win for us, just finally, getting that monkey off our back of, winning on the road. So, I mean, everybody knew we were 0-4 going into it, I think, on the road. And, like, hey, you got to get one, pressure's on. And we went 0-7 from 3 in the first half. We played pretty good defensively. I think definitely good enough to win, and win that half. But we were down just because we couldn't shoot it. We were getting good shots and taking good looks. So, but until it happens, we're still on the road and hadn't won. So in that second half, I'm like, guys, the ball's going to go in if we keep playing our style, and we did. And they slowed the pace down. They were having trouble scoring. We made shots. But we had a couple, some stretches down the stretch where we got stops, over and over, and obviously scoring and had some good runouts too. So, I mean, I think it was the toughness for me that stands out of our guys, that knowing, hey, things weren't going well again on the road. Again, this happened to us again. Well, we have to be tough enough to come together as a unit and get stops and find a way, because it's not always going to be easy, and it hasn't been with this group yet. But if they play as hard as they did there against St. Mary, especially that second half, stay together, which they did the whole time, we'll win some games.
Well, you brought up going 0-7 from beyond the arc in the first half. St. Mary was 1-12 from beyond the arc in the second half after going 5-16, 31% in the first half compared to 8% in the second half. How much of a focal point was that, making sure you're chasing them off the line in that second half?
Yeah, it was. I mean, they had trouble shooting. We knew that, and so that was, and they shot it well the first half, and we didn't. It's like, hey, Now, getting our guys to believe that and trust in the game plan of, hey, they have some size, and so we knew they could hurt us inside. So, hey, just trust us. Make them shoot the contested threes, make them beat us that way. Don't let them beat us from the inside. And I think, us being able to stick with that and stick with that game plan, our guys are starting to try to figure that out, and I'm confident that we can kind of game plan now, especially after our last couple, because the first couple we couldn't. So, but sticking with that game plan and doing it, for a whole game, even when it's not working at the beginning, and we were able to do that, and then they, just like we thought, we forced them into some misses, and long rebounds. They shot a bunch of threes, and we got some easy buckets that way too.
Whenever it seems like you guys are down, or if you guys need a big play, it seems like KJ's been able to rise to the occasion. And in that game against St. Mary, he had a 3-point play, I believe, to really jumpstart your unit. He finishes with 22 points on 8 of 13 shooting. Just can't get enough of seeing KJ play. But also, too, Colin Macklin slowly but surely having those moments offensively. I know on Saturday we'll get to how he played against Southwestern, but primarily looking at his offensive production last couple of games, it's been a tick up compared to when he started the season. So KJ, whenever you need kind of a run that gets started, it seems like it's KJ. So talk about KJ Spiller and what kind of a role he really has on this team at this stage in the game. Talked about him being a bucket getter, but I know it's a little bit more than that. It seems like he's kind of an energy guy as well.
Yeah, I mean, we played him 37 minutes against Southwestern. Just we can't take him off the floor just because of his, he plays really good defense. He had 10 boards against Southwestern too, and so just he has, I think the ability just to do a lot of different things for us, and with his skill and his size, and he still hasn't figured out what we want him to do exactly, that's what's exciting to me. But against St. Mary's, I mean, he had 2 big threes from kickouts and knocked both of them down, and that was following. That's all in the second half, following his and one too. So he's just he has a knack for getting to the rim, knack for finishing. And he's a really, really good ball handler. And so, he's playing the 4 for us a lot. But, I mean, he's really a guard. And so able to guard bigger players but also be, really skilled on offense. So he can do a lot of different things.
Phil McClintock, our guest here on the Friends Basketball Show on ESPN Wichita. St. Mary falling to Friends, 71-57, second conference win for the Friends men's basketball team. Going into the game against the Southwestern Mound Builders, number 11 team in the country. Final score, Friends falling 90-82. But right out of the gate, it was a 3-0 lead for Southwestern, and then you saw a monster response from the Friends men's basketball team, an 11-0 run to jump ahead, 11-3. Knew Southwestern would have another rally. The Mound Builders did. They would take the lead on I think it was a 17-4 run. But then down the stretch, you guys needed a bucket. Out Emerlahu getting a bucket on the board, plus a free throw as time expired to make it a Friends lead at the break, 40-38. Then the second half. Last year, Southwestern was down at the half. Southwestern would come out. I believe it was a 15-0 run, and then that was pretty much the game. This time around, Southwestern did have a little bit of a jolt there in the second half, but you guys were able to collect yourselves, and you found a way to hang in there all the way until the very end, falling by 8 points. Your overall thoughts with the number 11 team in the country, Southwestern?
Yeah, I mean, they're good. They're really good. And they're deep. They have a lot of older players who have been in the program for a long time. So, and obviously multiple returning All-Americans. So we knew it was going to be tough. I was proud of our guys we kind of did a few things differently, defensively, game plan-wise that we – I was concerned about for sure, but we were able to stick with that game plan the whole game. And so sometimes you game plan. Against McPherson, we game plan something. We had to abandon it 3 minutes in the game. So, I mean, we've seen that not work out for us this year. And so us being able to do that, and we competed. I mean, we left it all out there. And, just late in the game, they have guys that knew their roles and they knew exactly what to do, and they'd been through those moments before. And we hadn't, and that showed. So that's that next step we have to make to where we can compete with those teams and hopefully be able to beat them. So
the very end of the first half, I didn't know if Emerlahu was going to get a shot off or not in time. It took a little bit, and then you got it across the timeline, and then it was like 6 seconds left, and it's like, all right, now go. And then Al was able to get all the way to the rim, finish, and then got to the free throw line for one more. End of half execution, Doesn't always happen that way. Seems like at the end of basketball games or at the end of halves, you're normally trying just to rush up a shot from beyond the arc, and that's just college basketball in today's day and age. However, you guys were able to run something and execute it. How pleased were you to see that happen at the very end of the first half to give you a 2-point lead?
Oh, I was happy. Clock management, we've been okay. It's not that we've been bad, but I don't always feel like we're on the same page, as a unit out there on the court this year, just everybody being new. So having Al, you always wanted, hey, let's not settle. Let's just go and take it to the rim. And Al, he thought about it. He stood there and looked, and he just blew by and took it strong, got hit on the head. And that was a huge finish for us, to give us a lead there at half. So.
Yeah, it ended up being huge. And then the second half, you guys faced some challenges. I got to say, there were so many moments to where in that type of environment, Southwestern brought a lot of people, and it feels like the game might be slipping away. There were times to where after a technical foul, you steal Chapman, hey, everyone get together and talk it out. Like everyone come together as a unit and have a conversation. And then there was another moment where Steele comes over and you and him are talking and you're explaining to Steele about, hey, you should have been here or should have been doing this. And then at the very end, it wasn't a, hey, I'm disgusted with that, or whatever. It was a, hey, high five. Like, come on, let's go. Like, we can do this, that type of thing. Those are moments I'm seeing to where you look at this team and it seems like these players are trying to be coachable in those moments. And that's not always the case when it's happening during a game. Normally behind closed doors, naturally it's just you and them and no one else around them. But in that atmosphere, sometimes that's not always the case. But I came away thinking of those moments more so than the actual game itself on Saturday. I guess just want to get your thoughts on that perspective as a head coach, trying to do those things at that moment. I know it might not result in a point, but it might result in wins and just building a culture overall. And that's got to be the number one thing to get done here this year.
Yeah, it's funny because we can win games too, so it's not like we can't. Like we can beat anybody, we can play with anybody. So, it's not a traditional rebuild as sometimes when you just know you're going to step in and take losses and, but you're going to try. So, we want to win, and so but we got to shore up a lot of like the technical foul. You just can't. I've had like 6 people talk to me about, that tee and how big of a swing it was. Not only the foul that we, got the foul called on us, which probably was whatever, but then you compound it and give the best free throw shooter probably in the nation. Don't quote me on that, but I'm sure he's 90 plus.
He's pretty good.
And so, and give him 4 free throws and then expect, for things to go well for us, right? And so it's just those are the things that I'm having to coach that as much as I'm coaching basketball this year, I feel like. The positive is that our team, you can see the progression they're making. And so I feel like, hopefully this second semester, the basketball portion of my job will become a little easier because I'm just having to manage and just try to teach them. It's just hard to teach a new group who, especially when the returners haven't won much, how to be winners because it's so hard to be a winner. It just really is. And the details and how hard the things that you have to do. And so these guys are super coachable. They want to win. They have obviously, if you've watched any of our games, especially recently, now we're more comfortable. We're just playing as hard as we can, and so which I appreciate that. And we are playing, and we're getting better defensively. It's just I feel like the results. We're playing some of these super high-powered teams like the Ottawas and the in Southwesterns. Well, you're going to look at their scores. Southwestern was averaging 91 points a game, right?
Yeah.
So we held them under their average, which, you have to kind of look at it that way.
Shooting 51% as a unit, might I add.
Yeah, and, if you look at a lot of stats in our games, a lot of them were with these teams, even though we're losing, the things that are important to me are good. Our shooting percentages or assist-to-turnover ratios. We're doing a lot of good things. So we just got to take that just next step where, hey, after a big play, don't get a tee and compound the problem. Or, hey, don't blow this coverage and then, yell at each other about it. Just take it and move on. So we're getting there. It's taking a little bit of time. So.
Well, I know that against Bethany, you guys suffered from 17 turnovers, but your last 3, you haven't reached double figures.
Yeah, we've been taking care of the ball. That's why I think just being the guys getting comfortable in our offense and in their roles in our offense. That's what's just taking a little bit of time. But I do feel like they're getting comfortable. I like what we're doing offensively. I wish we had more assists, and I wish the ball moved a little bit more. But I mean, if you look at the Ottawa and in the Southwestern game in particular, when you're shooting it at a really high rate, then I mean, you don't want to, hey, don't shoot that shot, pass it, because hey, you're shooting it, at 50%, from 3 and 2. So it's definitely not the shots we're taking. So now, I mean, can we throw it inside a little bit more? Probably so. Can we move it a little bit better? Probably so. But those are all nitpicky things when you're shooting that high of percentage.
For sure. Men's basketball coach Phil McClintock here on the Friends Basketball Show from Walk-On Sports Bistreaux. Friends with a valiant effort falling 90-82 to Southwestern. Keon Hutton finishes with 17 points. Didn't get a chance to finish a game in the second half. Couldn't help but think what it would be like to have Keon out there. And you guys are in a game with no Christian Williams, too, so your rotation gets adjusted a little bit. And only lose by 8 to the number 11 team in the country. I mean, that has to be another aspect of being happy with what you saw on Saturday.
Yeah, we had some guys step up. Like Duron McDaniel hasn't played a ton, and he finished the game at St. Mary's. Played solid, but then, I mean, he played 19 minutes and had 16 points against Southwestern in limited minutes played this year. And just how comfortable he was. So, I mean, I feel like, you never want guys to get injured, but Christian going down has given him a little bit of an opportunity, and obviously him stepping up. So that's just going to make us deeper, as we go into the second half, because you got guys with confidence. And now we've seen it actually happen, because until everybody can play, but you have to prove that, right, in a game. And so, but we've seen that happen, and so I mean, have faith in him coming back to second half. So once we get fully healthy, and now we're 9 deep, and I mean we have other bench players. Steve Stacco's been in the game too. I mean, you're 10 deep with guys with experience. So I definitely have to like that with guys. If you have somebody go down, it's not going to kill you.
Duron McDaniel finished with a career-high 16 points. The beginning of 2024, you do have an exhibition coming up against Emporia State. For those that don't know, no game against Bacone, a cancellation earlier this week because of the decision to shut down the program here for 2023-2024. So you do have an exhibition game at Emporia State on December 30th. But then to open up January, you have 3 consecutive home games. You have Tabor, York. Those are 2 conference games. You have Spurgeon, a non-conference game on Monday, January 8th. And then you have Avila and Kansas City, which traditionally if you go to Kansas City, you're going to shoot poorly. It just seems to be my experience going up to Avila. And then you have Sterling on January 13th. You look at the start, leading into Oklahoma, Wesleyan, Bethel, and Evangel, some tough games to say the least. But at the very beginning, not like you guys are going into anything thinking you're going to get the win anyways. You're not at the point where you can just roll the ball out and play and think you're going to get the win.
Yeah.
However, though, when you take a look at 2024, what could a hot start to 2024 do with this team?
Yeah, I mean, we've looked at the schedule. I mean, there's some tough parts and there's some easier parts, and nothing's easy for us. So take that with a grain of salt. But, I mean, if you look at where teams rank in the conference, I mean, we're starting out with some teams that are tied with us or below us, and I feel like this stretch, we're 2-4, but we've lost, only one of those teams is even with us in conference or below us. So everybody else has been, above us in conference. So, I mean, you look at that as a coach, but, I mean, for us, any kind of streak we can get, I mean, obviously you look and there's some potentially winnable games. But really for us, that I'm happy we have that Emporia State game, because I think we'll need to, see what kind of shape we're in and be able to play a lot of guys in that one and try to get them up to game speed. And Emporia State is really good, ranked in D2. So seeing that, that speed and then taking that into our Tabor, York, and, Spurgeon, Avila stretch, and, maybe we can get a run going. I know we won 2 games in a row. I think 3's a streak, so can we find a way to win 3 in a row? That'd be awesome. So.
That would be great. Yes, that would be fantastic. Before I let you get going, here you are going into the winter break. Just, I guess, the strengths that you've seen or the things that you have been impressed with the most and things that you're going to be working on going into the winter break and then focusing on 2024.
We got a lot of work on. We got a lot to work on. So there's plenty.
List.
There's plenty to do. The good thing about it is with everything being new, and this is my first year too. So working out some kinks on what we want to run, what we don't want to run. There will be, we have quite a few sets in. There'll be, a handful of those that we throw out. Tomorrow we're going to put in a little simple new offense, just a wrinkle to one of our offenses we have. So we're going to be able to throw in those wrinkles over the break, with this extended break now without Bacone, even more so, and be able to hopefully work on a little bit of stuff defensively too that we might want to do differently. So those are really, I've been happy with the guys. They've been super coachable. They show up every day ready to go, and they want to get better, and so they want to be coached. So I'm excited to go into 2024, the second semester, and see what we can do, see if we can win some games.
I am too. Favorite holiday movie?
Christmas Vacation.
Oh,
not even close.
I knew that you would be. Okay, we're good. We're happy. We can end this thing on a good note now.
Yeah,
because
100% too.
Good. Yeah, Christmas Vacation. By far and away number one.
Yep.
So I'm glad that you are in agreement with that.
Yep.
All right, Coach, thank you so much for everything. Enjoy the holiday break, and we'll talk to you again here before too long.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Phil McClintock, men's basketball coach at Friends University, here on the Friends Basketball Show from Walk-On Sports Bistreaux on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM. Walk-On Sports Bistreaux. I know it's the holiday season, but there are a lot of things taking place during the holidays. You have the college football bowl season that's set to take place. You have college basketball. You have NBA. You have all sorts of stuff taking place right here at Walk-On Sports Bistreaux. Come on out this way and be a part of the fun. They have that game day atmosphere with the game day food with a Southern twist. Going into the holiday break, the Friends men's basketball team 4-6 overall, 2-4 in the KCAC. They get a chance to rest up before taking on Emporia State on December 30th, and then they will be back on January 3rd, 2024. It's Friends and Tabor from inside the Garvey Center coming out because we will have some fun then. Big game on the women's side, too, for that one, with tip-off at 6, men to follow at 8 o'clock. Well, thank you so much for watching and listening. You have a wonderful night. We'll talk to you again soon, as we'll have another edition of the Friends Basketball Show on ESPN Wichita 92.3 FM.